Y'all, Wizard101's newest update just dropped. I thought I'd make a video talking about everything you need to know about the new gold key boss drop. This is something that affects spells, this is something that affects gear, this is probably something that's gonna really shake up the PvP and PvE meta. So let's get right into it. What do I mean by new gold key bosses? Actually, they are just the same bosses we've already been used to. Their drop tables have been improved. So the specific bosses that changed this update are the key boss in Avalon and the key boss in Mushu. If you've never interacted with a gold key boss in your life, it's actually super easy to find it. If you go through Shoshin Village and then go in a Cave of Solitude in Mushu, or go through the catacombs and get into the crystal caves in Avalon, you can open up your map, you can look at where the gold key symbol or the gold lock symbol is, and all you have to do is find it. You'll see like a special sigil like this, and as long as you have a gold key, you can basically run this. Now the new drops involve both a new gear template and also spellments for all of the new spells that were added this update. So as you can see, I've already started farming these. They're not actually hard to farm for because both of the bosses that drop the new spellments are either 1 or 2 turnable. Now what is really cool about spellments is that you can actually learn the spell with the spellments alone. This is something also that a lot of people don't know about. You don't have to craft any of these new spells. In fact, I don't even know if there's a crafting recipe. In order to learn a spell, all you have to do is get 35 spellments, and the drops are also like, they're very common. I think I was able to tier 2 a balance spell in about a couple of hours, which it sounds like a lot, but we were like messing up, you know, it was like late at night. So if you want the new balance or mid spell, the Avalon key boss is a one to farm. If you want the other 3, the fire, the ice, or the death one, this is Monk of Mourning, Apocalypse, and the new ice elemental. If you want those, and the Mushu boss is a one to go, that one's in Cave of Solitude. Now spellments, spells, all of that is really cool. If y'all don't know what all the new spells do, I did upload a video talking about it, but I also wanted to look at the pity system. So this is a pretty new concept for Wizard101. I feel like, you know, this is something that a lot of people have criticized them in the past about. But basically, if you farm these bosses, you get custom reagents that only drop in these instances, and there's a crafter outside that uses those reagents. So after doing quite a few runs, I've stockpiled like 150 spectral shards, and it only takes 17 to craft the main pieces of gear, and even less to craft accessory gear like wands, like decks. Now specifically this gear template, whether you get it from Mushu or Avalon, the gear actually gives the same stats. The only difference is the item card. But what makes this stand out is it's a very high pierce setup, which I think is very relevant because pierce tends to be better than damage, especially as you level up, as you PvP. But the trade-off is that this gear does not give any resist whatsoever. Now, could I see a school like Balance give up 18 resist just for like a little bit of pierce and a little bit of damage and like all of that? Absolutely not. I don't think that's even remotely in the realm of possibility. But I do think there's something to be said about Storm, maybe Fire. These are schools that have some mitigation, right? Like Storm has really good weaknesses with like Catalan. Fire has some really good HP, so you could maybe just give up resist and try to kill your opponent before you die. Right, there might be tactics there where the actual extra pierce and the accuracy and everything else that this gear gives other than resist is worth just scrapping resist, because other schools can pierce through all of your resist anyways. While that is fair, you know, I guess, I think the highlight of this specific gear template, I kind of talked about this before, it's definitely the wand and the deck. And what's really nice is you could probably craft the deck in 2 runs of one of these, and you could craft the wand in about 3 or 4. That's what the drop rate is looking like. It's literally about 5 shards per run from my experience, and these are really good wands, right? If we're comparing a raid wand that I have on the left to this, the damage is similar, the pierce is 3 higher. That's a ridiculous difference, and the only trade-off is that you don't get pip conserve. So would I run this on a Balance, a school that really needs pip conserve to compete? Probably not, but I would argue almost any other school. This is a direct upgrade. The fire wand is literally ridiculous. It gives 14 pierce, and it still gives you a ton of damage. I want to say that these are the best wands in the game right now. I think the Shabalba wands or the new Fairy Kai Horde Pack wands, because those give the same stats, they're really good for PvE, but getting pierce for a little bit of damage loss is extremely worth it in so many scenarios, because it is easier to get damage using gear set pets than it is to get pierce. The deck is also ridiculous. It gives pip conserve and it gives a circle jewel. There's a combo we haven't seen before. It also gives up HP but gives every other stat, making it the most well-rounded deck. The item card, no matter what school you get it on, is a Dark Surge, which is also really really, really powerful. Overall, y'all, this update gives people a lot to do, right? There's 5 new spells. You don't know how that's going to affect the game. There's like a double detonate. There's a hidden weakness for ice. There's this spell, which I think is going to be really interesting. But I think the real highlight is that it looks like the grind for gear, it looks like the accessibility of gear is absolutely changing in a super good direction this update. I can't remember the last time you could get gear that's from a pack by just doing like a few runs of a gold key boss. And what's really, really nice for people that are maybe a little bit nervous about where to get their gold keys from, in the previous update, they added a thing where basically a lot of these worlds, if you do enough quests, they give you gold keys and you can access them from the badge page. So I've already started redeeming a lot of them, but let's say that you have the epic quester badge. Let's say you've happened to complete all the quests in Grizzleheim and Wintertusk. Is this easy? No, but honestly, as a high level, it's actually not terrible. You could click on the actual badge, click on claim reward, and you'll get a gold key. And there's multiple badges in the inventory that are like this. And considering that you only need 1 key every 4 runs if everyone else in the run is using a gold key, and this dungeon also drops you gear, as in you don't even need to craft it necessarily, and it also drops you gold keys, it's a pretty fun experience. I feel like it's not actually as bad as it used to be. As far as the gear template, I love to see gear that's actually competing with raid gear, even though maybe it's not an exact carbon copy or completely better. I think when they do update raid gear from the current raid that just dropped in this update to level 180, what I'm really, really hoping is that there's, like, you know, analogous gear just like this that's available. Hopefully things with shad rating, things that give good damage at the expense of accuracy or pip chance, those seem to be really, really good gear templates. What I'm hoping is, sure, if they're found in raids, whatever, not a big deal, but hopefully something similar is also found in a very free-to-play format like this, something that's more casual, maybe different. Doesn't have to be better, doesn't have to be, you know, equal, just different and comparable. I think that's something that me personally, I'd love to see, because I feel like the past year has been characterized by gear that you can only get from packs, gear that you can only raid for, raid gear being gear that you probably throw in crowns in a chest, so you end up paying money anyways, right? That's really, really frustrating, and I'm glad that not only is this gear competing, it's also the pity system associated with it makes it very easy to acquire. So big TLDR, if you're any school but Storm or Life, there's a new lore spell that you can farm from either the gold key boss in the Crystal Caves or the Cave of Solitude, and if you're a low res school, there's tons of new gear that you can try out for PvP, and if you're a high res school, there's wands and decks that you could absolutely consider adding to your inventory and open up a lot of possibilities that weren't available before. And the bright side of all of this, you don't have to raid, you don't have to open a pack to do any of this. Hopefully I covered everything, where to get the spell elements, where to even get the gold keys if you're just starting off. I think this is a very easy thing to do, especially if you're just trying to learn the spell, which I highly recommend. But let me know what y'all's thoughts are on the rollout of this gear, what it looks like, the spell elements, how they've added them to previous bosses, and what do y'all think of the pity systems that they're adding? I think this is a huge highlight that I wasn't able to interact with in test room that I've only been able to interact with now. Let me know y'all's thoughts. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub review, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome. See y'all soon. And yeah.